I remember back in college, one of my professors was talking about how there is this big trap that many people fall into, and he gave an example. He said, imagine you have a friend who calls you up and he says, "Hey, want to come over and play some video games?" You say, "Sure." So you go over and you spend the whole night playing video games. The next day you wake up and you feel horrible because you didn't study, and now you have this test coming up, and you realize, oh man, I really messed up. But then he says something that really shocked me. He said, what if instead of playing video games, you went out and exercised, or you read a book, or you meditated, or you worked on some other productive activity? You'd feel just as bad as if you played video games all night. That really shocked me. It made me think, wow, if I procrastinate on something that I don't want to do, like studying, but I fill that time with something else, like playing video games, I still feel guilty and horrible about it. So why not just do the thing I'm supposed to do in the first place? And that really helped me overcome procrastination. I've spent hundreds of hours reading about productivity and self-improvement, and I've tried every single thing there is to try. And what I've learned from that is there are certain principles that when you apply them to your life, they make everything easier. They make you more successful, and they help you live a life that you're actually proud of. So in today's video, I want to share with you the 7 most important things that I learned that I think will change your life forever. So the first one is very simple. It's find your why. So the professor I told you about in the beginning of this video, his name is Cal Newport, and he has a great book called Deep Work. In it, he talks about how most of us have lost our ability to focus without distraction for more than a few minutes at a time. He says this is the most important skill in the entire world right now. Everyone wants to focus on skills like public speaking or writing, but if you can't focus to do those things, it doesn't matter. So he talks about how you need to find your why, your reason to focus. Why should you even bother focusing? And he says if you can find a compelling enough why, then the how becomes easy. So let me give you an example. Let's say you're trying to eat healthier. That's your goal. But if you don't know why you want to do that, it's going to be hard. But let's say you find out that you have high cholesterol and you re-worried about having a heart attack. Now that's a compelling why. Now, you're going to be able to do the hard work of changing your diet. So take some time to figure out what your whys are. Why do you want to achieve your goals? Write them down somewhere where you can see them every day. The second thing is to make your goals SMART. There's this idea that you should set goals for yourself. That's not true. You should set objectives. And I learned that from the book The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. He talks about how the difference between people who succeed and those who do, and is that those who succeed have objectives. They have a clear target that they're aiming for. And those who don't have goals, they just have a general idea of what they want. So instead of saying, I want to get in shape, set an objective. How much weight do you want to lose? When do you want to lose it by? What does in shape mean? Do you want to run a marathon? Write it down specifically. And then break that goal down into smaller steps that you can take every day. That brings me to the third point, which is Parkinson's law that work always expands to fill the time that we allocate to it. So if you give yourself more time to do something, you'll probably take that full time. But if you give yourself less time, you'll probably still get it done in that time, and it'll probably be the same quality as if you spent twice as long on it. So if you want to get something done, set a deadline for yourself. Make it smart, make it actionable, and make it time-bound. This leads me to the fourth thing I learned, which is that you should prioritize ruthlessly. I got this idea from Getting Things Done by David Allen. He talks about how we all have so many projects going on at once that it's hard to know what to focus on. So he suggests that you have 2 lists, a someday maybe list and a next action list. On your someday maybe list, write down every project that you might want to work on. Then every day look at your calendar and ask yourself, what's the one thing I should do today that will make the most difference in my life? And then put all your energy into that. Which brings me to number 5, which is 80/20th thinking. This is the idea that 20% of the things that you do will produce 80% of your results. So you want to focus on the 20% that matters most and cut the other 80% out. For example, I know that 20% of my subscribers watch 80% of my videos. So if I want to grow faster, it makes sense to double down on making videos. They're helpful to that core group of viewers instead of trying to appeal to everyone. The 6th thing I learned that's been really helpful is from the book Mindset by Carol Duquette. She talks about how our mindset can either help us succeed or hold us back. So for example, if you believe that intelligence is fixed, then you're going to give up when you get smarter because you've reached your potential. But if you believe that intelligence can be developed, then you're going to keep learning and growing. So think about your own mindset. Are you holding yourself back by believing that you re not good enough? Or that you QI and do it? If so, then you need to change your mindset. You need to start believing in yourself. And finally, no. 7. This is something that I learned from multiple books, but it's the importance of taking care of yourself. I used to think that success was all that mattered. I used to think that if I could just achieve my goals, then I'd be happy. But I've learned that that's not true. Success doesn't guarantee happiness. In fact, if you're not careful, you can achieve your goals and still be miserable. So take care of yourself. Eat healthy, exercise, meditate, get enough sleep, spend time with loved ones, and do things that you enjoy. These things matter just as much as success. So I hope you enjoyed these 7 lessons. I know that they've been helpful to me. And if you want more, I've linked to all of the books that I talked about in the description below. Thanks for watching.